Today's topic of discussion is people pleasing. Now, people pleasing is at an all-time high in today's society. People are effectively worried about what other people think of them, and they are worried that if they say something which is different, or if it's something which is a different perspective, they are worried that other people are going to give them backlash, and these people here are not going to be able to respect them anymore. So we're going to be discussing some key issues in terms of how people pleasing affects your relationships, and it affects your relationships with women. So first point is low confidence. So certain guys with people pleasing behavior, they are focused so much on fitting into society and society's norms and standards. The problem with that is society's norms and standards is always changing. So throughout several periods, throughout several decades, society standards and norms have changed. So for example, here's an example, yeah. In society today, women, they dress provocatively. So that's seen as society's norms. However, 100 years ago, it was the complete opposite. Women would dress modestly, women would dress with honor, and these women here were not women who would reveal themselves. So when it comes to confidence, right, women are very good at sensing whether or not a man has got confidence. So is he somebody who behaves in accordance to society's norms, or is he behave in accordance to what he thinks is right and wrong? So certain times in society, right, you got people who think that it's not good to view and to say your own opinion. So if you say your own opinion in, for example, a discussion, then you're going to be seen as somebody who is different and somebody who is not good. The problem with that is you lose your own identity then, and that's what happens to a lot of guys nowadays. What happens is they're lacking from the confidence side of it. They're lacking in terms of speaking out and just speaking their own opinion. In life, right, everyone has different viewpoints, but the problem is in society, people are looking to their left side and then they're looking to their right side, and they're seeing what the other person's saying, and they are effectively copying that. The problem with that is when you just copy that, you're going to be suffering from low confidence, and then your attraction when it comes to, so women are not going to be attracted to that, because they're going to see that as this guy here, he lacks that confidence within himself. And then when it comes to certain trials and tribulations, when it comes to going through certain challenges in life, you're not going to be able to overcome them because you're lacking and suffering from self-confidence. And self-confidence is something which you're going to need to develop. So self-confidence, self-respect, respect by other people, all these kind of things here, these are things which need to be worked on. So these kind of guys who are people pleasing, they have no respect, and they have no respect for themselves, and this is what the problem is. And then when you have no respect for yourself, guess what? You're going to be lacking confidence, and then your confidence is going to be getting affected on a day-to-day basis. And then you hear about it as well, certain times these people here, they end up having what you call is a midlife crisis. So a midlife crisis, when things become so overwhelmed, they have been behaving a certain way for the last 10, 20 years, and they've been constantly fluctuating their behavior based off of what society thinks as normal, that they end up having a midlife crisis because they're having an identity crisis there. They don't know who they are as a person. They don't know their purpose, and they are constantly jumping from bandwagon to bandwagon to bandwagon. And that's why their relationships end up suffering as well. So these guys here, they have miserable relationships. So that's the first point. Second point is these guys here have a sheep mentality. So these guys here in society, right, let's say in a room, right, you got 10 people in a room, including yourself. So 9 people in the room, they have a viewpoint of a certain view. So if they say that, this team over here, Chelsea, is the best team, and then that one person in the room, he supports, let's say, Manchester United, he is worried and he is concerned, thinking, if I don't support Chelsea over here, these people here are going to look at me differently, and people here are not going to like me. The problem with that is you're going to end up falling off the cliff with them. So if there's like a cliff right at the end of the road and then 9 people are walking in that direction there, yeah, if you don't have an individualistic thought process, you're going to follow them 9 people and you're going to fall off the cliff. And this is what society and this is what the system wants. The system wants control and power over people. So this is why all these sheep are literally fighting with one another. If you look at, for example, areas, right? So one of them is the districts. So you got these postcode wars that happen. So the postcode wars have been created by the system. The system has been putting this agenda into these poor areas, and these poor areas, these people here, these idiots, low frequency, these people, they are fighting with different people from different areas. And if you ask them, oh, okay, why are you fighting with them set of people from that area there? And then if you ask them, they won't know. They'll just say, oh yeah, you know, they're my ops, or they're my enemies, or, you know, my friends had altercations over there. It's not even their own personal battle. And this is what it is. These people here are literally sheep. They're following other people. So this is what it is. So guys who have a sheep mentality, they're going to be suffering when it comes to developing their own unique character and their own unique personality. These people here, right, if you look at the youngsters, for example, yeah, so if you look at youngsters, yeah, predominantly, a lot of them wear, let's say, Nike tracksuits, yeah, they wear Nike tracksuits and they are all following the same trend, yeah. So if you look at, for example, in the States, yeah, a lot of them are like 9-10 of them in a group, yeah, they've all got the same tracksuits on. It's just pathetic. It's like, it just shows you, right, these guys here don't have no unique identity, no unique sense of dress code. They don't know what to wear or anything like that, and they ain't got no class. Guys ain't got no class, and they're just looking bummy. So this is what these guys here. These guys ain't got no class, and they're just looking bummy. So guys who have actually got a standard, guys who are unique, yeah. If all these guys are dressing in a certain way, they're not going to be copying that. So if these guys here say, oh yeah, why haven't you got a tracksuit on? You ain't got a Nike tracksuit on. It's like, no, I ain't got my Nike tracksuit anyway. Do you understand? I don't copy trends. You know, that's what these guys are doing. So a lot of people, these youngsters, they're following that same trend of, oh yeah, you need to wear a Nike tracksuit, you need to wear a Gucci belt, you need to wear a Gucci pouch. And it was just like these little minions. They're just like all minions. Like if you see them, they're all following the same trend. Like for example, like what else was there? Canada Goose jackets as well. And then a few of them, like some of them, like with Montclair jackets. It's like they've made the brands look bummy. That's what it is. I remember back in the day, like you'd have certain guys who were in the olders, right? They would have, let's say, certain Montclair jackets on, yeah. These guys here now have come along now, and they've started to, you know, copy, and then started to, you know, dress the same as that, but they haven't developed their character. This is what the problem is. You as a person, your clothes don't make you as a person. It's your character and who you are as a person. And it's what people are going wrong in life. They're thinking, oh, if they get a certain outfit or if they get a certain clothing, that makes them better. It doesn't make them better. It makes them people who are just sheep mentality. So that's that point. The next point after that is no boundaries. So these guys here, right, have no flipping boundaries whatsoever. So if you speak to them and you actually see their behavior, when they're in one set of group, right, they'll behave in accordance to that group. But then if another group has a different viewpoint or if a different opinion, they'll agree with that. They have no boundaries, no principles, no nothing. And then these people here are easily bendable. So they get bent in a way where they're gonna compromise. So when they compromise on their viewpoints, that person is easily manipulated. So these kind of guys here are manipulated. So if you look at, for example, these influencers online, right, you've got certain influencers, but then below that you've got all the sheep who are just literally following it. So one of them is, for example, let's say, you know, the big trend that was going around was Andrew Tate. So that's an example, right? You got all the people below him, which is like the sheep. They're just shouting out top G, top G, top G. These guys here have got no boundaries, no principles, no nothing, yeah? And these guys here worship other people and they're jumping on bandwagons. And when you're jumping on bandwagons, it just shows you this guy here has no boundaries. And when it comes to his relationship, women are not going to respect that. So when it comes to respect is the foundation of all relationships. So when it comes to your boundaries, right, you need to have self-respect first. So that's the most important thing. So when you got self-respect, and then you have the respect for other people. If somebody shows you disrespect, if somebody is not respecting your boundaries, then it's going to be a problem. Then people there you need to cut all ties with and cut communication with. That includes certain people who you've been, let's say, with friends with for a certain set period of time, for several years. Certain times they may end up compromising on their boundaries, and then certain times those people there, they may break their principles. Like, you cannot be around them people there. There's certain people that I've known, right? They've displayed, for example, cowardice behavior. So with cowardice behavior, that's very, very bad, and it's very concerning. And those type of people here, I cannot deal with. I cannot be around them kind of people there. So that's where it's a certain times where if situations was to arise, and these guys here, if there was a situation was to happen, these kind of guys who would just end up running off, or they would just be thinking about themselves. So those kind of guys there, they don't have no boundaries. So this is what it is. Cowardice behavior is unacceptable in and of itself, and that's why you see a lot of guys in society, they are showing all of this cowardice behavior is because they've got no boundaries. They've got no principles. This is what the problem is. You as a guy, you as a man, you need to establish your boundaries and establish your principles. And then women are attracted to that because it shows to them strength. And that strength right there shows high confidence. So over here it says low confidence, high confidence, in the sense of this is going to be the opposite of people pleasing. And it shows that you're somebody who is of value. So that's a guy who's got boundaries. But these guys here, they don't have boundaries. That's what the problem is. And then the final point is fear. So these guys here are always in fear mode. Now, everybody will experience fear. So there's a hormone fear hormone that everybody experiences. Throughout all battles and wars, or whatever the case is, all these guys will experience fear. However, what separates the guys from the cowards and what separates the guys from brave is that the brave people take action. So even though they're experiencing fear, they take action, and then they still continue to go through that, and they go through the hardships in life. That's what makes somebody brave. So guys over here with the people pleasing, they're constantly in fear mode, and they're constantly thinking, oh yeah, if I say something or if I do something, that's right there, I'm gonna straight away get banished and I'm gonna get banished from the group, and then people are just gonna not look at me the same. So I remember even at school days, right, there were certain guys, you probably all know examples as well yourselves, guys, that there's people in your classes, and then certain guys, right, they'll just behave in accordance to how a couple of other people are behaving, but then when they would go around another group of people, they would have a different viewpoint and a different opinion, because them people there, they're constantly jumping from bandwagon to bandwagon. So these guys here, they're constantly in fear mode. That's very unattractive as well to women. So when women see that, they see that this guy here is letting fear drive his life. Fear is used as a tool to effectively push you forward and for you to make that brave decision in life. What people are doing is they're getting stuck in that fear mode, and when you get stuck in fear mode, you're just declining like that. You're just constantly going downwards, and that's what the problem is. So guys in society, what they need to do is they need to remove the people pleasing mindset, and you need to realize that you need to develop your own unique identity and your unique character, and that right there will attract not only women but attract all people in society. So certain guys, what they're saying is, how is it that my relationships are suffering? It's like, if you look at relationships with the women, they're suffering. But the relationships are not just suffering with women, they're suffering in all other areas of life. I'll guarantee you that person there, yeah, he's suffering when it comes to his communication skills, when it comes to his identity, when it comes to his character as a person, when it comes to him establishing his purpose. He doesn't know what purpose he's got. He's following what other people are doing. And this guy here is going to suffer. Hence why, women are not going to be attracted to those kind of people there. So that's what's happening in society now. In society, a lot of guys are following trends, and they're following all these different society's norms. And it goes back to, from the deen side of it, the deen teaches us the straight pathway to follow. So when you follow that pathway, what God's laws are written out, you're going to do well in life. So when it comes to putting God first, that comes before everything. So you will not experience people pleasing behavior, and you will not be focused on what other people think if you put God first. So that's the main lesson you guys can take from this point. I didn't actually write it down here, but God always comes first in life. If you put him first, you will not experience the people pleasing that these other guys are experiencing. It's because these kind of guys here are not putting God first. So just to wrap up, people with people pleasing behavior, they experience low confidence. Low confidence is very, very unattractive to women. Women see that and they get repulsed by that guy, because they see that this guy here is not a man who has high amount of confidence. And then with that high confidence, if he hasn't got higher confidence, he's not going to be able to go through trials and tribulations. And women, by their nature, they've got low confidence and they've got low confidence and they experience high anxiety. So these kind of women here, when they around that kind of guy there who's also got low confidence, is very, very unattractive. And that woman there is not going to feel safe, and she's not going to feel secure in that relationship. And then next point after that was sheep mentality. So a lot of guys, what they're doing is they're following certain trends. So if, for example, guys in the area are wearing all these Nike tracksuits, like bummy guys dressing like that on a day-to-day basis, the same sheep are going to follow that, and they're going to be like, oh yeah, we need to wear Nike tracksuits, we need to wear Jordan trainers. That was a trend as well that came about in the last couple years or so, like Jordan trainers. People started buying Jordan trainers. I remember that was a trend 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. It's like these guys, they're jumping on bandwagons. They're like, oh yeah, I need to get myself a Jordan pair of Jordan trainers. Otherwise, I don't feel like I'm good enough. This is what is the problem is. These guys attach their value to materialistic and external things. And this is what the issue is. I'm not saying to you oh yeah, don't buy a few nice things here and there. But your value shouldn't be attached to the materialistic possessions. That's what a lot of guys in society, they're feeling as though that, oh yeah, as soon as I get a house, or as soon as I get a car, or as soon as I get a nice chain, that I'm somebody of value. It's like, no, you need to become a man of value, and you need to work on the process and actually provide value to society in order to become a man of value. These external possessions don't make a man. So, and then the next point after that was no boundaries. So these guys, they are no boundaries. So where money or status and all these kind of things, they will dictate these kind of guys here, and they're driven by what other people think of them. And when you have no boundaries in who you are as a person, women are going to be repulsed by that as well, because they're going to see that this guy here is not firm on who he is. He hasn't got no boundaries, and the woman isn't going to feel safe around that guy. She's going to be like, nah, I don't feel secure in this relationship, because this guy here is constantly breaking his boundaries and breaking his principles. And that is such a turn off for women. These women here are emotional creatures, and then women make emotional decisions. As a man, you need to be focused on logic and reasoning. So those are the two things there, logic and reasoning, you need to be focused on. And that way you will not break your boundaries for no one. And then the final point was fear. So these guys here are constantly in fear mode. They're constantly thinking, oh yeah, what are other people thinking about me? If I say something which is of a different opinion, then people are going to have a negative viewpoint of me. And these guys here are letting fear control their lives. So when you let fear control your life, that's when you start to go on a downward spiral. And then that way there, you're just going to be constantly sinking. So the example was about the midlife crisis. That's what happens to a lot of these guys with midlife crisis. They experience they are experiencing people pleasing behavior, and then they're constantly doing that throughout their whole life, and then it gets to the point where they have an identity crisis. It's because things become so overwhelmed that they don't know who they are as a person anymore. So that's pretty much the summary of all them points there. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.